are listening to Balloon Killers. I'm your host, Chrissy Riley, and each episode I'll be talking to someone from the world of cowboy mounted shooting, which is one of the most exciting and fastest growing equestrian sports. Hold on to your hats because it's going to get Western. Hello everyone, welcome to the very last Balloon Killers podcast of 2025, and if you're watching on video, that's right, I said video, welcome to my little home podcasting Nook studio that I've set up so that if my guests are willing and able to be on camera, you get to put a name to a face and recognize them when they're at shoots. You should be able to watch this on Spotify and on YouTube, and you can always access the audio version of the podcast in most places that you get your podcasts. So that's something that I'm really excited about for 2026. A few of you might be interested in how my virtual reality shooting zone is going. I talked about this on the last episode, and basically it's just a saddle rack and a saddle set up in the corner of my living room. I look at a pattern, sit on my saddle, strap on my guns and holsters, and basically live that pattern, visualize that pattern in the saddle, and it should help me be better prepared for shoots. Well, this past Saturday at the Colorado Regulators shoot, I shot clean. I also waited for my shot. Normally I am too eager and I shoot too quickly. This time I waited, which was one of my goals. And it was something that I've been working on when I've been visualizing. And so I shot clean. And Mr. Bear went really well, and we won our class. That's right, we won our class. So I think it's going pretty well, and it's definitely something that I want to keep doing. I also really kind of enjoy doing it, especially when the weather's bad outside and I can't get outside to shoot. My guest for this episode, I'm going to read this long list of accolades, was the 2014 CMSA Open Eliminator World Champion Cowboy, the 2018 Reserve Overall National Champion Cowboy, the 2022 Reserve Overall Eastern US Champion Cowboy, and he has been a multi-time CMSA World Championship Top 10 Cowboy. Mitchell Kramer was the former senior manager of a nationwide commercial concrete company. He is the current president of Mitchell Kramer Advisors LLC, which is an investment advisor firm. And he is the Western sports announcer. And he's now, as you may have seen from the announcement on Facebook, he's now the president of CMSA, the president of the Cowboy Mounted Shooting Association. So I'm sitting down with Mitchell Kramer, the brand new president of CMSA. Congratulations, Mitchell.
Thank you. We're very excited, and I'm very honored to have this opportunity and hold this position, and just so excited to see and show you guys what I think we could do to bring the mounted shooting to a new level.
I'm looking forward to digging into that as we get into the questions. So first of all, I ask everybody this, but tell us how you got into mounted shooting.
And that's one of my favorite questions. That's probably the favorite question I ask people is how they got into the sport, because there's so many different ways and so many opportunities that people use to get into mounted shooting. And I think mine is pretty unique, as everybody's seems to have been on past episodes of Balloon Killers. I discovered mounted shooting through a magazine. It was on the shelf at a grocery store. I grew up in St. Louis, and I picked up 2 of those magazines, and they probably sat in my house 5 years before I even opened them. I eventually opened them, and in those magazines, we had descriptions on the types of guns that were used, a featured horse. Really gave me a lot of insight on what mounted shooting was and what they used. And at the time, I was involved with horses, but and also guns. And what better way to combine the two than this sport? So I went to CMSA's website and I found a shoot that was actually coincidentally the next weekend, a couple hours from me, and it was in Hawk Point, Missouri. The late Skip Wondersea was putting on a shoot up there, and I went there, talked to Skip, and I watched a nice little shoot in Missouri. And he said, "Hey, if you're interested in getting into this, you really should go talk to Paul Kane, who is putting on a clinic the following weekend at Lake St. Louis." And so the next weekend, I took a horse that wasn't broke to gunfire at all, and I went to my first mounted shooting clinic. And there wasn't too many of the new shooters there. A lot of people were already experienced, and I didn't really know what to expect. Uh, I think I only owned one pistol at the time. I went to a gun store and I bought a Ruger Nuva-Carol, one of the long barrels. This was prior to my knowledge of the Montados. And I eventually got a second one, and I still use those same two pistols today, the same two Ruger Vaquero Montado, or Ruger Nuva-Caros, not Montados. I still use those same two pistols today, and then they've done great for me. But yeah, so I got into it with Paul Kane, and he kind of showed me the ways. And I was working on this horse, and this horse at the time was probably 17, 18. He was kind of set in his ways. He kind of was a pasture horse, trail horse, and he did not take the gunfire. And finally, Paul Kane was honest with me, and that's all I needed was to say, hey, like, this horse probably isn't going to make it. Which, if you're new to mounted shooting, there's a very small percentage, I think, of horses that don't make mounted shooting horses, especially American quarter horses. But this horse was just not going to have it, which happens from time to time.
Mhm.
So I got with Paul Kane, and he brought me a horse to look at that he had for sale, Four Lucky Pals, aka Winston. And I got on Winston, and I bought him when he was 3 years old, turning four, and he brought me to a level six, where I am today. And I still have Winston. He's in the pasture. I kind of use him as a backup horse because I've put a lot of miles on him over the last 15 years.
I don't doubt it.
But Winston took the gunfire right away and mounted shooting, and he was such a great horse and a great opportunity for me to learn the sport with the horse instead of trying to force the
Mhm.
horse to catch up to me, which is can be an issue sometimes. And we both
Mhm.
kind of learned the sport together. And um, throughout that time, I mean, just meeting everybody and talking to other shooters, and coming from a background of like trail riding, team roping, trail riding, barrel racing, all of that, mounted shooters were so helpful on new shooters getting into the sport and just giving me new opportunities, new ideas of what we can do to improve. And I really took grasp of that, and it kind of brought me here.
I've got to know, what was the magazine?
It was a Western Shooting Horse at the time. That magazine doesn't really get put out anymore. It focused around mounted shooting, and it had a lot of information in there. And my staff already knows that I'm going to be pretty passionate about our magazines. And Kristen and Paige are both of our relationship managers. They know that as well, and we're working on some great things for the rundown for CMSA, because that's how I got into the sport. And I know a lot of people look forward to getting those magazines. And I know shooters out there too that they're members of CMSA and they're members of their local clubs, and maybe they don't shoot anymore, but they still like to be in the know of what's going on. And they like to see those magazines, and they look forward to them coming in. And so I think there's some great things that we can do. Uh, and Kristen and Paige have been doing a great job with it. But I just have, I think, some ideas where we can kind of make the magazine. It's really came more internal, and not in a bad way. But it's shown a lot of results, and showcased our sponsors, which is great.
Mhm.
But we want to make sure that we also have an external relationship with our Rundown magazine, to where it can be picked up by anybody quarterly, and they get a gist of what mounted shooting is. And I'm not just doing that because that's how I got into the sport, but it's another outreach to new shooters.
For sure, for sure. Well, given the recent announcement about you becoming the president, mounted shooting is clearly very important to you, and we've seen this through your work as an announcer as well. What is it that you love about the sport?
And I used to say half of it is because of the people, but honestly, it's at least 80%. It's because of the
Hmm.
people. The traveling and the hours on the road. It's really the people that makes it worth it. And you can go to an event sometimes, and yeah, you can have a frustrating run and maybe miss a balloon here and there, but it's the people that have kept me coming back. It's countless help on the road if you have truck issues or just in the beginning trying to get into the sport and seeing those familiar faces every day. And the CMSA really is a family, and I've said that a couple times the past few weeks on different sources of media. But it is, and especially the people locally around me, and now the people from coast to coast. CMSA is my family. Um, the, the people is the biggest part of it. I grew up in St. Louis, like I said, and as a kid, I was in a school with about 1,200 people in St. Louis, and we were right on the county city line at the time. And I was the only cowboy horse person in that area and in that school. And so I really didn't have anyone I could relate to. I was just known as, hey, that's the guy who rides horses and shoots
Hmm.
guns at the time. And I when I got on the road, I got to see people with similar interests and similar passions about the sport, and I could really see what it was with them. And it's 100% the people is the main reason why I love this sport.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Tell us a little bit about growing up with horses. What did you do growing up with horses? Are your family riders?
Yeah, so probably when I ever since I was a kid, we've had horses. At first, we just kept them at a boarding facility, and we had 4 or 5 horses on board at one point. And if you know anything about boarding, especially nowadays, that's like a mortgage or two.
Yes.
So at the time, we were we did a little bit of barrel racing and a lot of trail riding, and my brother was in the team roping, and I just got tired of trail riding every day, and I was just a kid and didn't really see the need for me to go out and ride. I was kind of losing my passion for it, but I still wanted to do this stuff, and I love this Western lifestyle. But I knew there was something else out there for me, and eventually, when I got into mounted shooting, I started. I would practice, I would say, at least 3 nights a week, every week for mounted shooting. Wintertime, summertime, it gets cold here in Missouri. I was out there shooting. Eventually, it got to the point where we all realized, hey, we're paying a mortgage on board. We need to get
Hmm.
our own place to house these guys, and so that brings us to Sullivan, Missouri, where I currently live, and my family here, just to give you some background, we have an indoor arena event facility and an outdoor arena that I just got done building this past year, and we host a lot of other events here at my family's place, and so we've been involved on the event production side a lot. But once we moved out here, we kind of could do our own thing. It can start to expand a little more, shoot a little more, bring people into mounted shooting through the use of our facility, and it really taught me a lot. So.
Oh, so jealous of the indoor arena right now.
Yeah, yeah. I can say it's not heated, but it is enclosed and as windows it opens up. But and really just in the Western industry in general, back then when I was boarding horses, uh, it was hard to find an indoor arena. And now, at least in the area I'm in Missouri, you could drive every hour and hit another one. People are building them like crazy. We have a great facility in Festus, Missouri, that the Missouri State Championships are usually held at, or a regional shoot every year. They love mounted shooters. That's another thing, is these arenas love us because, one, it's something different for their area for people to come see. They also like the people. Um, and that arena down there in Festus is heated and closed. They have a covered arena as well. And there's just so many facilities we see popping up everywhere that are great for mounted shooters, and the facilities love to have us there.
Yeah, we're renowned for being so clean. I know that from Colorado.
Yeah,
Indoor arenas, the mounted shooters are renowned for cleaning up after themselves and really maybe even leaving the arenas better than we found them.
right, exactly.
Well, a lot of people might recognize your voice as one of the great voices of the CMSA majors, and I know that you also announce for other events like barrel races as well. How did you get into announcing?
Yeah. So when we first came here to Sullivan, Missouri, and we started these events, I had a producer come and put on a small, like, Wednesday night jackpot barrel race. At the time, everything was done in cash and handwritten on a piece of paper. And so the hardest part was legibility of people's handwriting when I was trying to announce their name and try to learn announcing and try to learn how to be proper on a microphone right away. and they asked me if I would help and just announce. And so, yeah, I donated my time and started doing some shows at my house. And then all of a sudden I'd get a call or a message from another place that asked, hey, could you help out here? And really what that turned into is, and I'll say this for anyone interested in getting into announcing, you're going to do a lot for free in the beginning and a lot of
Hmm.
donated time, and it takes practice. And eventually you'll get to that point where you can, I don't want to say put your foot down, but you can get to the point where you realize, okay, I could really do something with this, and my time is worth something now. And in that process, I'm really passionate about the music. Whether it's at a barrel race or mounted shooting, I know a lot of shooters know that. I definitely know the barrel racers know that around here. Um, I try to be on point with the music that I play at events. So not just the announcing, but on the music side, countless hours into editing music. Everyone asks what program I use. I use a program called Sports Sounds Pro. And I tell them, that a program like that, any announcing program, it'll cost you a couple $100, but you don't get any music. You have to download that yourself, edit it yourself, cue it yourself. And it takes a lot of man hours to get that ready, but you slowly build that over time. And I kind of took a passion for it because I thought of what do I want to hear when I'm coming in the arena? And that's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. I want to draw up that excitement, and not just for a few individuals. I want to do it for everybody. We go to some of these events now at the majors, me and Adam Ross, and we have 400 plus runs a day that we have to make exciting. And I think we do a pretty good job doing that. And but there's a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of experience that we've put into that to get it to that level. So that's the long answer for it.
I really appreciate, though, how you see this as a production. It isn't just a rinky-dink ride in, you say a few words, maybe they're the right ones, maybe they're the wrong ones, play a bit of music in the background. For you, you really develop this as a production and organize it to be something that makes people feel really good and therefore probably have a better competition as a result.
Right, right, exactly. And like I said, I always imagine, what do I want to hear when I'm coming in the arena, and I want to make sure that rider feels just as special coming in as they do coming out.
That's awesome. Well, from trail rider to mounted shooter to CMSA majors announcer to CMSA president, what inspired this new move?
Just a lot of things, and I'm extremely passionate about the sport, and over the last few weeks alone, we're just getting started, but I've put in 80 hours a week just to CMSA, and I plan on that continuing. This sport means so much to me, so much to my family, um, and on top of that, I can kind of address an elephant in the room. One family has as far back as 30 years ago has never owned all of CMSA, and it's 100% owned by the Kramer family. And then we had, some people might ask about that, but this is a family sport, and we see that as we're able to work closely with each other when we work on this stuff and keep those same family oriented values. Everybody in my family has a hand in our arena business here. And on the production side, everyone has a role and a job that they do and a job that they fulfill. And on top of that, me and my brother especially, like, he'll do a lot of my dragging for us here, and he'll come with me on the road sometimes to barrel races and drag. And we have a really good, deep understanding of production at some of these super shows, as well as the small jackpot events. And we're just happy to keep those same family oriented values moving forward with CMSA as they have been in the past as a family sport. And just I would say part of the passion of it is over the last 15 years, I've had so many ideas of what we could do. And a lot of those I brought forward to CMSA in the past. And now a lot of them, we can just do it, guys. Like, we can all do this together. We can do it now. And, I mean, one of the things that I've referenced on some of these new projects that I've been working on is I had to pull out a notebook out of my trailer from April of 2016 that I wrote out in Tunica, Mississippi at the Nationals of just some new ideas on some things. And um, me and my family, we're just so excited. And the same with current CMSA staff, everyone's just excited that we can implement some new ideas and get this thing to a whole new level. And luckily, the past three owners, Gary Vickers, JD Graham, Mark Marley, they've been great working with us on this transition, and they're excited as well. So.
Well, what plans do you have for the future of CMSA? What do you see this sport looking like in 5 years or even 10 years down the line?
Yeah. So we want to make sure that we're providing an equitable amount of resources to clubs, members, new shooters, and trainers. And I'll try to go through each of those things, and I want to start on new shooters, and this kind of flows into the other categories. So one of my projects, my staff knows it as Project Start, but what we want to do is the CMSA events and the website is we have a great way to kind of showcase some of our sponsors and some of our vendors, while also allowing new shooters to see what they need to get into the sport. If we have on one page, here's how you join CMSA, here's all your local clubs, here's your CMSA professional horseman, here's where you can buy, your Circle Y saddle and get your guns from Monroe Hildenbrand, our gunsmith, and also here's showcasing some of our fraternity and derby horses, and kind of paving a pathway for new shooters to come into the sport. And I think that's us at CMSA doing our due diligence, because we owe a lot of these trainers out here who also have big farms, and they're full-time into mounted shooting, or they're part-time into mounted shooting, and they're doing a lot for us here at CMSA. And we want to make sure we're reciprocating that by providing them with customers for their business, and to support them, and to make sure that they have the support that they need to support those customers and those new shooters coming in. That helps everybody. It helps the sport grow. It helps the competitions get bigger. It helps bring new members in, and helps put the sport on the map to where we really think it should be. So more to come on that project, but I'm pretty big on deadlines and timelines, and I put a lot of time in myself into this. So I'd say sooner than later we'll see some changes on the website and some other exciting things. As far as on the major side of major events, one of my big things is going to be awards presentations. And this isn't necessarily just about the physical awards that we're giving out. It is that too, but the presentation itself. I'm working on some resources right now for our first show in 2026 in Queen Creek, the Winter U.S. Championship, sponsored by Bishop Trailer Sales. We're working on bringing in just a nice, how am I going to put this? It's going to be a nice event for the awards presentation. I'll say that. And I want everyone to feel truly recognized for what they've earned. And not that hasn't been done in the past, but there's just some improvements that can be made, and that what we can do to take it to the next level. I want people to look forward to coming to our awards presentation and not feel like it's a burden, or it's taking up too much of their time, or they're trying to go eat dinner. I want to serve those guys dinner, at my awards, or at CMSA's awards rather. And I think there's a lot of things that we can do to improve that. And I'm hoping that pieces of the puzzle come together here, and people will be impressed by awards presentation following the majors this year.
And they might be more inclined to stay, because I know a lot of people leave early. They leave as soon as they've done their ride. And it sounds like this is going to be more of an event that people might want to actually stay for.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many possibilities and opportunities we have out there, but on awards presentations, we do a great job at CMSA. In the past has done a great job at Amarillo with, we have entertainment up there. We have that band that comes in and plays our CMSA song, and not everybody can make it to every single major. So every event is just as important as World to me, whether it's a small club event or it's a major event at World. And we want to make sure that people are recognized, and they feel the appreciation that we have for them coming to a CMSA event. So,
Well, these are some of the questions that I ask everybody.
okay.
So they're gonna be familiar to you. But what's your favorite shoot each year and why?
Yeah. The first one, I kind of have to do what everybody else has done in the past and say, okay, the first one is obvious. It's South Point in Vegas. But I will give you another one after I go through that one. And I'm not just saying South Point because of my position with CMSA. I'm not just saying that because everyone else has said it, but me and a couple other shooters a long time ago came to an agreement. It's about a 28-hour drive from here in Missouri to the South Point in Vegas. And a ton of us got together and we all said, look, if you can only make one shoot a year, drive 28 hours and go to the South Point because there's nothing like that. You feel like this is the real deal because it is.
Hmm.
And there's so many amenities there, on the announcing side. And I'm sure Adam is the same way. We get there on like a Tuesday to help set up for staff. And I know I didn't see the light of day until Sunday walking out to the airport or getting in the truck. So
Hmm.
they've got everything you need in there, and just it's a really cool environment. And South Point's a hot topic right now because we just wrapped up NFR and a lot of good stuff going on in Vegas and the South Point. But it's just a premier event, and the staff loves to have us there. The casino loves to have us there, and the locals love to have us there. The South Point is such is appreciated so much by the locals in Vegas, and they're known as the locals' favorite as a casino. So
Yeah, and it's
great.
such a great horse facility too. I was surprised, and I think this might surprise some people who've never been there and never experienced the horse facilities underneath in the basement of the South Point, that they're really first class facilities. The help there, everything runs like clockwork. There's a lot of support to make that place stay clean,
Yeah.
pristine, and make sure that you have everything that you need to do your best in your event.
And now for CMSA on a production side too, they give us a ton of ability with audio and video on. We have the jumbotron screen there that we can use. We have the scoreboards that we can use underneath the announcing stand and underneath the cinch bar. And there's so many things that are great for great production. And we plan on using those this year to their full ability. I'll say that. To give you another one that's not Vegas, just to kind of provide some other ones, Sedalia, Missouri, the Missouri State Fair. Starline Brass sponsors that, and they donate to the Missouri State Fair shoot um, somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 for one event. This event has been going on for quite some time, and of course, we have a great relationship with Starline Brass coming from CMSA. But they also do a lot for the Missouri State Fair because they're based in Sedalia, Missouri. That shoot there, we bring in about 2,000 people a night to watch,
Wow.
and it is a show. I try not to, when I was announcing, I was trying not to announce any local club shoots because that's the one shoots that I get to go and just shoot and kind of have fun.
Hmm.
So we hire somebody to come in and announce it, and just extreme excitement. And on that event there, it's free. Like, people can come spectate for nothing. We don't charge ticket sales. People are walking around the fair and they hear the gunfire and they want to know what's going on, and they see all these guys dressed up in horses and cowgirls, and they come on in, and everyone has like a nice, exciting rodeo style event with us. In return to the shooters, because of the generous sponsorship from Starline, we usually have great payouts. I know people in the past who've walked out of there with $4,000 and
Nice.
buckles, and this year I believe I think Pete Melby was the match director, and he was able to give away a saddle, a clean shooter saddle, and just the awards and stuff are on par, and just a great shoot to have fun, and you can spend time with your family at the fair, and that one's been really close to me as far as a good shoot to go to.
So for people like me who love putting these shoots on their bucket list, when is this shoot?
This shoot is typically the after Vegas, like the first week of August. It is a limited shoot. I think it caps at 100. When it opens up, which is usually around the 1st of July, you want to make sure you get on the list. There's always a waiting list for it. It's a very unique style event because we're in conjunction with the Missouri State Fair, which is a huge event. So there's some guidelines and some rules to follow, and certain barns to go to. You have to check in and check out with your Coggins and health certificate and the livestock release. But it's a great event. Like, everyone loves Missouri State Fair if you ever get the opportunity.
I'm adding it to the list. How about your favorite win and why?
My favorite win was probably in 2014. I won the CMSA Open Eliminator at World, and that was my first major win at a major. I would say big win for me. I was a lot younger at the time, and the person who was winning it before I went in the arena was a men's level 6. I was a men's level 5, I believe, and I had set the fast time, I think, on all three eliminator qualifying stages. Maybe not the first one. I'd have to think about that. But I still go back and watch those videos on YouTube, and all these old runs that we have of previous world records and stuff. I always go back on YouTube and watch those runs of guys like the Little Family and uh, Jesse Kuka, Kendall Singh, Lisa DeGear. I go back and watch all these guys. Cody Clark is another one, and watch and see exactly how they rode and what they did before I go into a pattern. And so I also have my own runs on there too, and I can kind of critique them. So I go back still to this day and I watch those three runs of each eliminator stage up until the finals. And I just remember that excitement. I remember going back to my stall and family members running up to me, or friends running up to me rather, and giving me a hug. And it was a really cool opportunity and a really good win for me. And at the time, we gave out buckles to the eliminator winners and guns and some stuff, which I'm going to work on getting back into the eliminator intent. Uh, but it was just a really cool one for me, and I was really proud of my horse Winston, who got me there.
Hmm. I love that. Well, who or what has been instrumental in your success? And this might be horses, people, strategies, anything really.
Horse is 100% for Lucky Pals Winston, and then now I have the horse at BC 45 Colt, aka Ziggy. Um, as far as people go, and there's so many more people than this, but I'll kind of hit some main points here. When I first started shooting and I was at that border barn, Paul Chipman was one of the owners of that border barn at the time, and he really helped me. He stayed up late with me at night, working, practicing on my horse. I could only practice at night because there was boarders there and their horses weren't broke to gunfire or anything. So I had to wait till everybody leaves so Mitchell could come in and shoot. And typically it was, after school or, after dark for sure. And Paul Chipman really helped get me started and finding the right horse, and it kind of set me in the right path. And from him, of course, I went to Paul Kane because I took his clinic, and he really helped me find Winston and a good horse. Uh, Following that, I also got a lot of help from shooters Stephen and Laura Wilson. They're both level 6s, and they've been in the sport longer than I have. Stephen was, I believe, he was the youngest men's level 6. That still hasn't been beat. Uh, he taught me a lot about proper riding, flexing at the pole, flexing your horse. I really started to build more of an understanding of what it would take to bring me to the next level from those two, Stephen and Laura both. And then on top of that, just fellow shooters. I mean, everyone is so helpful. Ever since I started shooting, and I see it now with new shooters coming in, people want you to get started in the sport, and they want to help you. My third event that I went to was in DeCoin, Illinois, and I just won my first check the weekend before. I won my first check for $72, and I was all excited about my $72 check. And I go to my next shoot and getting ready to go in the arena, and the guy sitting next to me, his name's Kenny Rasnick, and he literally has the CMSA logo tattooed on his forearm, like he's a shooter. And he asked me, he said, you get those butterflies in your stomach? And I was like, oh yeah, like I'm just getting started here and I'm kind of nervous. And he goes, well, good luck. Those don't go away. And they don't. They don't go away.
They don't.
But you find different strategies and ways to manage that. And I always remember that quote about the butterflies. And at my third shoot, that was a good memory.
Well, I know a lot of people are buzzing with excitement about you being CMSA president, but what are you excited about for 2026?
I'm really excited to be able to help take the sport to the next level. And of course, I can't do that alone. And the whole time that I've been kind of transitioning to this position, I think I've made a good point that I don't want the spotlight to be on me. It's not about me. It's not about my family. This is about the shooters. And in the same way that I acted in announcing, to where I want to announce it and let that rider feel exactly how I would want to be feel if I were in the arena. I want to be a president for CMSA's members that they would like me to be, and that they would like me to help with and provide resources for, and get people's relationships communicated in the right way, and build up these sponsors to support them. There's there's a value on everything, but I can't imagine the value of how many people out there have bought these farms and ranches and horses and trucks and trailers and lifestyles. There's millions and millions of dollars that have been really poured into mounted shooting at home, and I think us here at CMSA, we owe them something, and in return, we like to send them as much business as we can, much support as we can, because in return, they're helping us, they're helping CMSA, and we want to make sure that we give them that support. So I'm looking forward to just helping bring mounted shooting to a next level, whether it's at the majors or the resources for a small club or jackpot or practice or clinic. I want to be able to help that, and I'm excited to see what we can do for those guys.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I am very excited about the future of CMSA, and I'm wishing you all the best of luck with your new position.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks for having me on. I listen to Balloon Killers every episode it comes out.
Thanks again, Mitchell, for taking the time to talk to me on your Christmas holidays. It sounds like there's a lot for us to be excited about in the CMSA world in 2026. If there are balloon killers that you would like to hear interviewed or see interviewed, please email me on balloonkillers@gmail.com. That's balloonkillers, all one word, @gmail.com, and have yourselves a happy new year.